was made up. At the centre of the movement is Peter McIndoe, 23, a floppy-haired college dropout in Memphis who created Birds Aren't Real on a whim in 2017. For years he stayed in character as a conspiracy theory's chief believer, commanding acolytes to rage against those who challenged his dogma. But now, Mr. McIndoe said in an interview he is ready to reveal the parody, lest people think birds really are true. Dealing in the world of misinformation, for the past few years we've been really conscious of the line we walk, he said. The idea is meant to be so preposterous, but we make sure nothing we're saying is too realistic. That's a consideration with coming out of character. Most Birds Aren't Real members, many of whom are part of an on-the-ground activism network called the Bird Brigade. By cosplaying conspiracy theorists, they have found community and kinship, Mr. Indo said. Birds Aren't Real is not a shallow satire of conspiracies from the outside. It is from the deep inside, he said. A lot of people in our generation feel the lunacy in all of this, and Birds Aren't Real has been a way for people to process that. Mr. McIndoe was homeschooled, taught that evolution was a massive brainwashing plan by the Democrats, and Obama was the Antichrist, he said. He read books like Remote Control about what it said were hidden anti-Christianity messages from Hollywood. And that's it for that theory. And then the last theory is, what is a Skinwalker Ranch? Let's talk about Utah's second most mysterious site, Skinwalker Ranch. Located in the Vinta Basin, this paranormal hotspot boasts claim of flying saucers, mysterious lights, unknown illnesses, shape-shifting monsters, and just about everything else you can think of. It's so well known, in fact, that there have been several books written about the property, and it's even the subject of a History Channel show, History of the Skinwalker Ranch. The earliest known inhabitants of this land played a big part in its ominous name. The property lies on land traditionally inhabited by the Ute tribe, but the term Skinwalker comes from Navajo legend and translates to by means of it. It goes on all fours. In Navajo's culture, Skinwalkers are evil witches with the ability to shapeshift into any animal or human. The Skinwalker legend is not well understood outside of Navajo culture, but what is known about it by outsiders is enough to inspire scary stories of all variety. One such story involves the Ute tribe. The legend goes that during a time of hostility between the Utes and Navajo, members of the Navajo decided to unleash skinwalkers upon their enemies, and those skinwalkers still stalk the land today. The Shermans, the idea of shape-shifting witches in the present day Unit Basin might be hard for some to believe, but not for the Sherman family, who purchased the ranch in 1994 with the intention of settling down and relaxing in their new country home. If that sounds like the beginning of a horror movie, it's for good reason. The Shermans experienced a lot of spooky goings on during their time at the ranch, most notably with something matching the description of a skinwalker. One night, Terry Sherman heard a noise outside and was startled to see a wolf in his yard, one much larger than any he had ever seen. Terry grabbed his gun from inside and shot the wolf several times, but his bullets appeared to do no damage whatsoever. was Bigelow's playground, and in 1996 the eccentric millionaire brought Skinwalker Ranch and made it a research lab of NIDSCI. Of course, one of the main points that skeptics will make about Skinwalker is that most of the evidence for paranormal activity on the ranch comes from the Shermans who sold the ranch to a millionaire known for his interest in UFO research. Could they have faked cow mutilations and invented tales of wolfmen to entice Bigelow or another buyer? It's an interesting theory. However, a sort of a Marvel Cinematic Universe twist. Rather than believing that UFOs arrive from another planet, subscribers to this theory believe they arrived from a parallel dimension or universe. Sounds crazy, but this would certainly explain why the lights in the sky sometimes appear to look like portals, and any kind of interdimensional gateway would be beyond to cause some anomalies nearby, right? Theory 3. Geophysical processes causing the brain to hallucinate. Hold on to your brain, protecting tinfoil hat for this one. Of course, it's a doozy. Developed by neuroscientist Michael Persinger, this theory posits that geophysical forces like tectonic shifts, seismic activity, geomagnetic fields, others may affect the parts of the brain involved with creating hallucinations. Under this reasoning, everything people experience at Skinwalker is a result of increased seismic activity in the area. So those shapeshifting